Welcome everyone, back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest GFS, GM, ECMWF, then we'll have a look at the GFS ensembles, and then we'll have a brief look at the National Hurricane Centre, as we could be having some interesting conditions coming through the Atlantic over the next sort of week or so, with the potential for the first significant storms of the season starting to develop. Do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. Do remember to follow me on Twitter as well, link is in the description. So first we'll have a look at the GFS, and it's looking like things are going to be turning a bit drier over the next few days, before by the weekend and early next week, thunderstorms and heavy rain could return quite widely. So if we do run through the GFS, you can see high pressure is going to take control today. We've seen a bit of cloud and some drizzle in the east. We've had a few heavier showers break out in the west, but we've had a convergence zone, but really nothing has really came up from that. Just a few isolated heavy showers, a few areas seeing a lot of rain in like a really small area, and you're just really unlucky if you've got caught by that. It's very difficult to model and forecast. But over the next few days, things are generally looking drier and looking generally a little bit warmer. We could be seeing mid-20s quite widely, or at least in England, and low 20s quite widely as well. Through Friday and then to Saturday, still quite warm before low pressure comes back in. And there's like the weather fronts are going to be pushing in with this low pressure system through the weekend, and we're going to be seeing some more wet and windy weather. And you can see the low start to spin up. You see some warmer air is introduced in the country. It could increase temperatures where we do see dry weather and sunshine, but at the same time, that's going to fuel more showers and thunderstorms for early next week. So not looking too good, and that low sort of in control for the foreseeable future until sort of the end of next week. We have a westerly flow, brief ridges of high pressure come through, but always low pressure nearby. But as we head to Thursday 10, a ridge coming out of the Azores tries to extend over, and you can see we do turn a bit drier. But if you do look out west, you see this little feature here, this low pressure system with some very hot air in it. That looks like it's the remnants of whatever tropical storm or hurricane that's going to be impacting eastern coast of America over the next week, that's forming right now in the Atlantic. So we'll have a look at that at the end of the video, but you can just see how that's potentially going to impact the UK as it gets swept up in the jet. Now, luckily, the jet stream is pretty amplified on this run. So it's going over this higher pressure into sort of Greenland area, where it will lose its emphasis before eventually it does look like it's going to be dropping down, but nowhere near with any intensity that it would have if it was coming straight across the Atlantic. But you can see by the end of the run, low pressure to our south, high pressure out in the Atlantic, and out in Europe, and we are pulling in southeasterly winds. Could be drawing up some quite hot air, but at the same time could be having a few thunderstorms with that. So looking generally quite unsettled over the next week to 10 days. For potentially high pressure could take back control, but still low pressure always nearby. If we do have a look at the GM, okay, very similar in the next few days, that high pressure. Then by Saturday and Sunday, that low moves in, weather fronts initially, then heavy rain within those weather fronts, and then we got those heavy thundery showers behind that. Beyond that, that low just sits over the top of the UK, could be spiraling a lot of showers around through sort of Wednesday into Thursday, before eventually filling in when we do get a brief ridge of high pressure, before low pressure starts to come making it back in from the west. But generally, you can see we've got generally warm upper air temperatures in the south, so temperatures could still get up to around 20-25 degrees or so, but always low pressure going to be coming in. So it does look like the first week of July could be not particularly pleasant, with a lot of thunderstorms around, and not really the dry weather that we kind of want, especially in the south, where we've seen quite a lot of rain. Some areas can double the June average in the south, whereas to be honest, the north has had very little rain in many regions, so they probably do need the rain to keep make sure we don't get any sort of late season wildfires or anything if we do start to see hotter temperatures through July and August. If we now lastly have a look at the ECMWF, see how that compares for over the next few days, very similar before that low moves in through Sunday into Saturday. Saturday into Sunday, and then that low really spins up once again. We see another low spinning up through Monday to Tuesday, so it could be some very heavy rain along with that, so we have to keep an eye on that, how that does develop. And then as we head towards day 10, brief ridge of high pressure tries to build in, but we can see low pressure out in the wings in the Atlantic, ready to push in. So we'll have to just really keep an eye on that. But sort of maybe 8th, 9th, 10th of July, so towards the next weekend, we could be getting a brief ridge of high pressure building in, so a few drier days. It is day 10, so it's uncertain at this stage, but we'll just have to keep an eye on that. So if we have a look at the GFS ensembles, you can see generally over the next sort of 14 days or so, temperature's going to be around average. We do have a lot of uncertainty what side of average it's going to be, but generally 2, 3, 4 degrees either side of average. So maybe getting highs of around 25 degrees or so, but maybe at the times we've got rain, only the highs of 15, 16 degrees. You can see throughout the 3rd to maybe the 6th, 7th of July, a lot of showers around, indicative of those potential thunderstorms we're going to be seeing spinning up from the south. Have to keep an eye on that. In the long term, as we saw, no real signal for anything really dry or really wet. Sort of in between weather systems and models are a little bit unsure whether we're going to have low pressure control or high pressure. So not loads of frequent rainfall spikes, but still quite a few. So we can't really make too many guesses out that at this stage. If we have a look at the 2 meter temperatures, you can see generally around mid to low 20s, maybe some highs getting up to around 25 degrees. Maybe this Friday, for example, getting up to 25 degrees, where we do see sunshine and drier spells, but whenever we've got the rain and cloud, temperature's going to be suppressed between 15 and 20 degrees. So, yeah, not looking too pleasant throughout next week. It's just really going to be luck of the draw where we do see those heavier showers form. Over the next few days, we'll probably start having a look at precipitation charts to see how these showers are going to evolve, and they'll start to pick up on features and little troughs that will enhance rainfall. So we'll just have a look at that over the next few videos. If we finally have a look at the National Hurricane Center, we do have at the moment 2 disturbances out in the Atlantic. We have disturbance 1, and we have the second disturbance, if we do, they're sort of overlapping each other. So yeah, we've got disturbance 2, which is the closest one to the Caribbean at the moment. Showers and thunderstorms continue in association with the tropical wave, located over the Lesser Antilles. It's become less organised, and significant development is no longer expected. So unlikely to produce a tropical storm, so over the next sort of 5 days, very little would come from that, maybe just some enhanced thunderstorms. So we're keeping an eye on this disturbance 1, which, if we have a look at its track, is heading straight for the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico and potentially up towards Florida and into America. Probably also skimming parts of Mexico as well. But over the next sort of 5 to 6 days, we have to keep an eye on how it's going to affect Caribbean. You can see showers and thunderstorms associated with the broad low pressure system and tropical wave located about 1,300 miles east to southeast of the Windward Islands have become better organised since yesterday, so they are strengthening. However, recent satellite wind data indicates that the disturbance does not have a well-defined circulation. Environmental conditions do seem favourable for development, and a tropical depression or storm is likely to form over the next few days. System moving northwestwards at 20 to 25 miles per hour. So it's pretty quick movement from this system. Interest in the Lesser Antilles should closely monitor the progression of this system, and as advisories on a potential tropical cyclone accompanied by tropical storm watches could be issued. So definitely seems by that the National Hurricane Center is expecting this to become a tropical storm that could impact significant populated areas within the Caribbean and then potentially into America in sort of the longer term. Now, we always look at the GFS for the UK, and we have a look at low pressure systems, and we say, 7 to 10 days out, very uncertain. Now, this is the 5-day track at the moment, so in the 7 to 10 day time frame, it could affect America. So that's why there's a lot of uncertainty at the moment. So don't want to ring any alarm bells, as it could just sort of dissipate in the Caribbean or pull out eastwards, out back into the Atlantic, or winds could break it apart. in 5-6 days time. So we'll just have to keep an eye on how this does develop, and we may do a video in the next few days looking at this in more detail if it does start to develop significantly. But it could be our first sort of significant tropical storm this season. We've had a couple impact America where they've turned tropical storm for a few hours as they made landfall, but generally just areas of thunderstorms and heavy rain, and not particularly significant winds, so it wasn't really warranted any specific videos. But looking at this, tracking across a warm ocean for quite a period of time, could gain some strength, and we could see the first real hurricane of the season. So we'll keep an eye on that over the next few days. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.